News India's Voice to the World. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Guyana confers its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Dominica too confers highest national honour to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi proposes 7 key pillars to strengthen India-Caricom relations at the summit. US vetoes UN Security Council's Gaza ceasefire resolution, while Hamas and Hezbollah stress on ending conflict for hostage or ceasefire talks. Ukraine launched UK cruise missiles into Russia a day after using long-range US missile. US reopens Kyiv embassy after initially shutting it, citing strike threat. And on to the top story this hour. Guyana has conferred its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In a ceremony at the State House today, Dr. Mohammad Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, conferred upon India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi the highest national award of Guyana, the Order of Excellence. The award was conferred for Prime Minister Modi's visionary statesmanship, for championing the rights of developing countries on the global stage, for exceptional service to the global community, and for his commitment to strengthening India-Guyana relations.
The greatest test of any human being, the greatest test of any member of the human family, is to give of their very little when they are most in need. And Prime Minister Modi has fulfilled this test with distinction during the COVID-19 pandemic, when they gifted this region 500,000 vaccines, when India itself was rallying to meet their own needs.
Well, while accepting the award, India's Prime Minister Modi dedicated the honour to the 1.4 billion people of India and to the deep-rooted historical ties between the people of the two countries. He emphasised that his state visit is a testament to India's continued commitment towards deepening India-Guyana friendship.
भारत भी गयाना के साथ हर क्षेत्र में कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चलने के लिए तैयार है। दो डेमोक्रेसीज के रूप में हमारा सहयोग केवल द्विपक्षीय संबंधों के लिए नहीं, बल्कि पूरे ग्लोबल साउथ के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है।
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is only the 4th foreign leader to be conferred with the highest national award of Guyana. With this, number of international honours for Prime Minister Modi has reached to 18. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also received the Dominica Award of Honour, highest national award of Dominica. The award, handed by Dominica's President Sylvanie Burton, was presented in recognition of Prime Minister Modi's contributions to Dominica during the COVID-19 pandemic and his dedication to strengthening the partnership between the two countries. India supplied Dominica with 70,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine during the pandemic in February 2021. The award also recognizes India's support for Dominica in healthcare, education and information technology under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership.
ये सम्मान केवल मेरा नहीं है, बल्कि भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों का, उनके पुरुषार्थ का, उनके संस्कार का, उनकी परंपरा का ये सम्मान है। यह गहरे संतोष का विषय रहा है कि हम कोविड जैसी आपदा के समय डोमिनिका के लोगों की सहायता कर सके।
Well, earlier, Prime Minister Modi co-chaired the second India-Caricom Summit along with Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell of Grenada, the current chair of Caricom. Prime Minister Modi thanked President Dr. Irfan Ali of Guyana for hosting the summit. The summit saw participation from heads of government and FMs of the member states. To further strengthen the India-Caricom partnership, Prime Minister has put forward a 7-pillar proposal for Caricom. Caricom stands for C, capacity building, A, for agriculture and food security, R for renewable energy and climate change, I for innovation, technology and trade, C for cricket and culture, O for ocean economy and maritime security, and M for medicine and healthcare. Also, Prime Minister Modi said that cricket is a big connecting link between India and the Caribbean nations and proposed of training women cricketers of these nations.
क्रिकेट हमारे देशों के बीच एक बहुत बड़ा और महत्वपूर्ण कनेक्टिंग लिंक है। इस वर्ष आपके यहाँ हुए T20 वर्ल्ड कप से भारतीय क्रिकेट फैंस का कैरेबियन की ओर आकर्षण और भी बढ़ा है। और यह मैं सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि भारत ने यह विश्व कप जीता था। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि क्रिकेट संबंधों के साथ साथ महिला सशक्तिकरण को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हम कैरिकॉम के हर देश से 11 युवा महिला क्रिकेटर्स की भारत में ट्रेनिंग कर सकते हैं।
Well, Prime Minister Modi gave a new definition to the CARICOM, focusing on capacity building, agriculture, food security, renewable energy, cricket and culture and medicine. Prime Minister stressed that India has put a proposal of opening Jan Aushadhi Kendra in Caribbean. And during India-Caricom Summit, Guyana President Dr. Irfan Ali thanked Prime Minister Modi for his selfless attributes during COVID-19. He added that ties between India and the Caribbean are deeply rooted in shared history and enduring cultural connections.
Having collectively this occasion to meet you face to face for the first time since COVID, to thank you and the people of India for your selfless attributes when you delivered to this region our first set of vaccines during the COVID pandemic. Under your visionary leadership, India has an influential voice in the international community. Your launching of the Voice of the Global South, your recent chairmanship of the Group of 20, India's pivotal role in BRICS, and your steadfast advocacy for the developing world underscores your commitment to advancing the aspirations of the Global South. These initiatives have elevated India's stature and placed the concerns of developing nations, including the small island developing and low-lying coastal states of the Caribbean, firmly on the global agenda.
Well, on the sidelines of second India-Caricom Summit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with leaders of 8 countries. We get you details in our next report.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with PM of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brownie. Both the leaders held talks on a number of bilateral issues. PM Modi also held bilateral talks with Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis. PM Narendra Modi held talks with Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, on the sidelines of the second India-Caricom Summit. PM Modi thanked the Dominican Prime Minister for the conferment of Dominica's highest award. The leaders explored opportunities for India-Dominica cooperation in areas such as climate resilience, healthcare, capacity building and deepening of people-to-people ties. They also discussed cooperations at the United Nations. Prime Minister Modi also held talks with President of Suriname, Chandrika Prasad Santokhi. Both leaders reviewed bilateral relations in sectors such as trade, technology, energy, telemedicine and more. They also discussed ways to further improve cultural as well as people-to-people ties. Prime Minister said India will keep supporting various development-related initiatives in Suriname. PM Narendra Modi held talks with Grenada Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. He also engaged with Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philippe J. Pierre. Both the sides exchanged views on cooperation in fields of capacity building, education, health, cricket, and yoga, and stressed the need to further reinforce bilateral relations. Prime Minister Pierre thanked Prime Minister Modi for the 7-point CARICOM plan. PM Modi held talks with Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Rowley. The leaders discussed ways to strengthen Trinidad and Tobago relations in areas of digital transformation, health, defense and maritime security, transportation and cultural exchanges. Prime Minister witnessed exchange of an MOU on setting up of integrated automatic fruit and vegetable primary processing activities in Trinidad and Tobago. PM Modi congratulated PM Rowley for adopting India's flagship UPI platform. Prime Minister Modi also held talks with Prime Minister of Barbados, Mayor Ahmad Motley. The leaders explored opportunities for cooperation in several areas.
Well, India, the Caribbean nation, marked a significant milestone by signing 10 MOUs to strengthen ties in hydrocarbons, agriculture and pharmaceuticals. Highlights include diversifying crude oil sources, promoting affordable generic medicines and expanding India's UPI and RuPay systems to Guyana. These agreements aim to boost bilateral trade, energy security and digital inclusion, marking a new chapter in India-Guyana relations. Here's a report.
India and Guyana are forging a historic partnership as Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks on his landmark visit to the Caribbean nations. This visit underscores the deepening ties between the two countries, bound by shared values and mutual interests. Prime Minister Modi and President Dr. Irfan Ali engaged in comprehensive talks focusing on key areas such as defense, energy, health, pharmaceuticals, telemedicine, Ayurveda and capacity building.
भारत की एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी में गयाना की अहम भूमिका होगी। इस संदर्भ में लॉन्ग टर्म पार्टनरशिप के लिए एक खाका तैयार किया जाएगा। इस विषय पर आज किए जा रहे एमओयू से हमारा सहयोग और सुदृढ़ होगा।
Strengthening this robust partnership, India and Guyana signed several agreements across critical sectors, signaling a shared vision for growth and development. MOU on cooperation in hydrocarbon sector, MOU for bilateral cooperation in the field of agriculture and allied sectors, Cultural Exchange Program 2024 to 2027, MOU for recognition of Indian pharmacopoeia, MOU for implementation of Jan Aushadhi scheme, MOU on cooperation in the field of medical products, India Stack MOU on cooperation in the field of sharing successful digital solutions, MOU for enabling deployment of UPI-like system in Guyana, MOU for cooperation in collaboration in field of broadcasting, MOU between National Defence Institute Guyana and Rashtriya Raksha University, Gujarat.
हम दोनों देशों के कृषि अनुसंधान संस्थानों के बीच सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमत हुए। कृषि के क्षेत्र में आज किए जा रहे एमओयू से हमारे प्रयासों को बल मिलेगा। भारत फार्मा प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए गयाना का महत्वपूर्ण स्रोत है। हम फार्मा एक्सपोर्ट्स बढ़ाने के साथ-साथ गयाना में जन औषधि केंद्र बनाने पर भी काम करेंगे।
Prime Minister Modi celebrated the enduring cultural connections between the two nations, emphasizing the cultural exchange program that will continue until 2027. He also hailed President Dr. Irfan Ali as a true brand ambassador of India, reflecting the close bond shared by both leaders.
राष्ट्रपति इरफान अली स्वयं भारतीय समुदाय के बहुत बड़े ब्रांड एम्बेसडर हैं। आज हम दोनों देशों के बीच 2027 तक कल्चरल एक्सचेंज एग्रीमेंट पर सहमति बनी है। इससे हमारे पीपल टू पीपल टाइज और मजबूत होंगे।
Dr. Irfan Ali acknowledged India's expertise in vaccines, urban development and agriculture, highlighting these as key areas of collaboration. Praising Prime Minister Modi's leadership, he called him a champion among leaders for his significant contributions to the developing world.
You are a champion among leaders. You have led incredibly You have shown the light to the developing world, and you have created a development matrix and framework that many are adopting in their own country, and much of it is relevant to us here in Guyana.
In a heartwarming gesture, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Ali participated in the Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam initiative by planting a sapling in Georgetown. Adding to the significance of the moment, President Ali was joined by his grandmother and mother-in-law, symbolizing respect for maternal bonds and shared values. With Siddharth Bardwaj, Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, during his visit to Guyana, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a special session of the Guyanese Parliament on Thursday, marking yet another significant moment in his global diplomatic outreach. This will be the 14th such instance when Prime Minister Modi will speak on behalf of the people of India in the parliaments of foreign nations. He holds the distinction of being the Indian Prime Minister with the highest number of addresses to foreign parliaments. His addresses, which transcend continents, are a testament to India's growing influence on the global stage. Prime Minister Modi's 14 addresses to foreign parliaments are double the number of addresses by Manmohan Singh, who had delivered 7 such addresses. Indira Gandhi had addressed foreign legislators 4 times, while Jawaharlal Nehru did it 3 times. Rajiv Gandhi and Atal Bihari Vajpayee delivered 2 such addresses, while others like Morarji Desai and P.V. Narasimha Rao addressed only once. Prime Minister Modi has delivered speeches in legislative chambers across the world, from America to Europe, Africa, Australia and Asia. In 2014, Prime Minister addressed the parliaments of Australia and Fiji. In Asia, Prime Minister has addressed the Parliament of Joint Session of the Bhutanese Parliament and Nepal Constituent Assembly in the same year. Also in 2015, Prime Minister addressed the British Parliament, National Assembly of Mauritius and parliaments of Sri Lanka, Mongolia and Afghanistan. Prime Minister has also addressed the joint session of US Congress twice, in 2016 and then again in 2023. In 2015, in Africa, Prime Minister has addressed the Parliament of Uganda in 2018 and Parliament of Maldives in 2019. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Donald Trump picks former Congressman Pete Hoekstra to be the US ambassador to Canada. Mali's Prime Minister fired after criticizing prolonged junta rule. And sculptures of Rome's Vittoriano shine again after restoration.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on. The US has blocked a Gaza ceasefire draft resolution at the United Nations Security Council, the 4th time it has used its veto power during the conflict to shield its ally Israel. 14 of the 15 council members voted in favor of the draft, which demanded that the conflict in Gaza must end immediately, unconditionally and permanently, and all remaining hostages must be immediately and unconditionally released. Deputy US Ambassador to the UN, Robert Wood, said the document abandoned the necessity for there to be a linkage between a ceasefire and the release of hostages. Wood said the proposed resolution would have sent a dangerous message to Hamas. And talks between Israel and Hamas to free the hostages have stalled after months of efforts to reach a ceasefire agreement. Hamas said there would be no hostages for prisoner swap deal with Israel unless the conflict in Gaza ended. Also, Hamas acting Gaza chief Khalil al-Hayya, who led the group's negotiating team in talks with Qatari and Egyptian mediators, blamed the lack of progress on Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who in turn holds the Islamist group responsible for the stalled talks. Speaking during a visit to Gaza on Tuesday, Netanyahu said that Hamas would not rule the Palestinian enclave after the conflict had ended and that Israel had destroyed the Islamist group's military capabilities. Netanyahu also said Israel had not given up trying to locate the 101 remaining hostages believed to be still in the enclave, and he offered a $5 million reward for the return of anyone. And moving on, Ukraine fired a volley of UK Storm Shadow cruise missiles into Russia on Wednesday, the latest new Western weapon it has been permitted to use on Russian targets a day after it fired US long-range missiles. The Storm Shadows have a range in excess of 250 kilometers and would give Ukraine the ability to hit targets far deeper into Russia than before. Moscow said the use of Western weapons to strike Russian territory far from the border would be a major escalation in the conflict. Kyiv says it needs the capability to defend itself by hitting Russian air bases used to support Moscow's invasion, which entered its 1,000th day this week. Meanwhile, the United States reopened its embassy in Kyiv and returned to normal operations on Thursday after a security threat. U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine said, "We continue to encourage U.S. citizens to remain vigilant, monitor official Ukrainian sources for updates, and be prepared to shelter in place if an air alert is announced." The embassy was closed on Wednesday, and embassy employees were instructed to shelter in place a day after Ukraine used American missiles to hit a target inside Russia. And U.S. President-elect Donald Trump is forging ahead with his cabinet selections and policy plans as his transition gains momentum. From healthcare reforms to economic strategies, Trump's latest announcements promise a mix of continuity and innovation. Trump has picked former Congressman Pete Hoekstra to be the U.S. ambassador to Canada. Pete Hoekstra was the ambassador to the Netherlands during Trump's previous presidency and has worked as the Michigan Republican Party chair during 2024. In the series of surprising appointments, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will likely choose Johns Hopkins surgeon and writer Martin Makary to lead the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA is the world's most influential drug regulator with a more than $7 billion budget. Makary raised concerns about a number of public health issues during the COVID-19 pandemic, touting the protection from natural immunity and opposing COVID vaccine mandates. Well, the congressional panel, which investigated allegations of sexual misconduct by Matt Gaetz, parted ways on Wednesday without releasing its report. Members of the House Ethics Committee met behind closed doors on Wednesday but did not reach an agreement on whether to publicly release a report detailing their sweeping investigation into former Republican Matt Gaetz. Gaetz was first elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2016 and won re-election this month, but he resigned shortly after Trump picked him to be the Attorney General. Some Republicans, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, have argued against releasing the report. The House Ethics Committee launched its investigation in 2021. And Mali's Prime Minister Choguel Maïga was dismissed on Wednesday after openly criticizing the military junta's failure to honor its promise of elections. The junta, which seized power in two coups in 2020 and 2021, had pledged a democratic transition within 24 months, with elections slated for February, but recently postponed the vote indefinitely, citing technical issues. Maïga revealed he was blindsided by the decision, learning about it from the media. His criticism strained relations with the junta, culminating in the cancellation of a planned ministerial council meeting. And the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration has partially lifted its sweeping ban on flights over Haiti. On Wednesday, the FAA issued a new notice permitting U.S. airlines to fly over northern regions, including Cap Haitien. This adjustment follows a total flight being imposed last week after a shocking escalation in violence near the capital, Port-au-Prince, where armed gangs fired on 3 commercial planes. And France's President Emmanuel Macron described his relations with Chile's Gabriel Boric as a deep friendship in their meeting in Santiago on Wednesday. Both the leaders reaffirmed relations between the two countries. The leaders spoke of their shared agenda on clean energy transition and multilateralism, among others, and signed an agreement to develop the first binational center of artificial intelligence. Boric and Macron met after attending the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro this week. Chile is France's third commercial partner in Latin America, following Brazil and Mexico. And Giselle Pellicot, a 71-year-old mass rape survivor, was met with applause as she left the Avignon court on Wednesday. The trial exposed horrifying abuse orchestrated by her former husband, Dominique Pellicot, who admitted to drugging her and inviting dozens of men to assault her while she was unconscious. Some of the 50 accused claimed ignorance or blamed the husband. Giselle only discovered the abuse 4 years ago when police uncovered the videos. Rejecting a private trial, she chose public proceedings to empower other survivors. The verdict, a pivotal moment for justice and accountability, is expected on the 20th of December. And Uruguay's ruling party presidential hopeful Alvaro Delgado ended his campaign on Wednesday in the capital city, pledging to be open to dialogue and agreements if he wins runoff election. Delgado said that his expertise and experience in government offer Uruguayans a guarantee that he and his team will guide the country on the path to development. The former secretary of the presidency under the outgoing Luis Lacalle Pou administration will contest the second round of Uruguay's presidential elections. Delgado secured his position in the second round after winning 26.9% of the votes in the first round. All the polls favor his opponent, Yamando Orsi. The second round is forecasted to be a tight race. And in Sri Lanka, President Dissanayake is going to address the inaugural session of the new parliament. It is the 10th parliament since the 1978 presidential constitution. The new parliament will officially convene with its inaugural session, marking the commencement of a new legislative term. The new Speaker of the House will also be elected during the session, who will take the oath of office and administer the oath to all new parliamentarians. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world today. Mexico marked the 114th anniversary of the revolution on Wednesday. A massive downtown parade took place in the capital that paid special tribute to women's participation in the armed forces. Participants reenacted battles from the revolutionary struggle during the parade. Rome's Vittoriano sculptures shone again on Wednesday after a restoration project for the conservation and enhancement of Italy's artistic and cultural heritage. The restoration of the sculptures on the main front of the Vittoriano was the result of a collaboration between Vive Vittoriano, Palazzo Venezia and Bulgari, which financially supported the restoration. Tesla Cybercab was presented in the German capital on Wednesday and will be on display at the Mall of Berlin until 8th of December. The two-seat robot taxi, which has no steering wheel or foot pedals, is due to go into production in 2026. Tesla fans in London and Paris will be able to catch a glimpse of this new model within the same time frame. And still to come, indeed, India News Hour. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh attends the ASEAN Defence Ministers Meeting Plus in Lao PDR. 55th edition of the International Film Festival of India opens in Goa. Prasar Bharati launches OTT platform called Waves. And NDRF conducts mock drill on natural disasters and rescue operations at Jammu and Kashmir's Riyasi. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. Pakshi Khurana. Time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Guyana confers its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Dominica too confers the highest national honour to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi proposes 7 key pillars to strengthen India-Caricom relations at the summit. US vetoes UN Security Council's Gaza ceasefire resolution, while Hamas and Hezbollah stress on ending conflict for hostage or ceasefire talks. Ukraine launches UK cruise missiles into Russia a day after using long-range US missile. US reopens Kyiv embassy after initially shutting it, citing strike threat. And moving on, India has slammed Canadian media report regarding killing of Sikh activist. In response to queries, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said, and I quote, "We do not normally comment on media reports. However, such ludicrous statements made to a newspaper purportedly by Canadian government source should be dismissed with the contempt they deserve. Smear campaigns like this only further damage our already strained ties." And India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is attending the 11th ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting plus in Lao PDR today. In his opening remarks, Rajnath Singh said that the joint statement being adopted today and a comprehensive strategic partnership with the ASEAN will, of course, lay the groundwork for our partnership in future. He added that in the days ahead, India look forward to working with all the ASEAN countries towards a stable, safer and more secure world for future generations.
I am Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister of India. I convey my congratulations for the presidency of Lao India. I am joined by the Vice Chief of Navy Admiral, Mr. Doordarshan, India's Ambassador to ASEAN, Mr. Jain Kobargade, India's Ambassador to Laos, Mr. Prasar Bharati, and AGFOM leader Amitabh Prasad and Joint Secretary South, Sri Ashish Sinha.
On the sidelines of the talks in Vientiane, the minister continues to hold separate bilateral meetings with his counterparts from other participating nations. He'll meet defence ministers of the US, New Zealand, South Korea and Australia today. On Wednesday, Minister Singh met his counterparts from China, Malaysia and Lao PDR. And moving on, the Indian Foreign Secretary is scheduled to visit Dhaka in mid-December to lead the Indian delegation at the next round of India-Bangladesh Foreign Office consultation. Said Foreign Affairs Advisor of Bangladesh, Tawhid Hussain, on Wednesday evening. He said that he believes Dhaka-Delhi advancing towards normal bilateral relations and the FOC will be the first step in that direction, reports Bangladesh Sanghastha, a state-run news agency. He expressed optimism that Dhaka and New Delhi could move forward pragmatically and realistically to restore ties to a completely normal state. During the visit, the Indian Foreign Secretary is expected to pay a courtesy call on Bangladesh's Foreign Affairs Advisor, reports BCSS. The last annual FOC was held in New Delhi on November 24, 2023. And in a move to strengthen India's foothold in the West Asian organic market, the Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority under India's Ministry of Commerce showcased a strong Indian presence at this 22nd Middle East Organic and Natural Products Expo in Dubai. APEDA coordinated the participation of 18 Indian companies, including 12 under its banner and 6 participating independently. These companies exhibited a wide array of value-added organic and natural products at the Indian Pavilion. The event, held at the Dubai World Trade Center, witnessed significant growth this year with over 550 exhibitors, a remarkable 83% increase from the previous edition.
APEDA is Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority under Ministry of Commerce, and we have the mandate of promoting agri-exports from the country. When I say agri-exports from the country, we have 700 plus products in our basket. This is the first time APEDA is participating in this exhibition to showcase India's strength in organic sector as well as to exploring the Middle East market and promote Indian products in the Middle East market and GCC countries.
Well, the 55th edition of Indian International Film Festival began in the West Indian state of Goa on Wednesday. Cinema lovers have already queued outside the theatre to catch the opening film of IFFI 2024, The Better Man. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnaw on Wednesday said India is focused on developing a strong content creators economy. Addressing the inaugural function through a video message, the Union Minister welcomed the delegates for this year's film extravaganza. Meanwhile, India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has launched its own OTT platform, Waves, offering a broad spectrum of entertainment and news content. The app is now available for download on Android and iOS devices. The platform aims to cater to a wide audience with its mix of live channels, movies, TV shows, games and live events.
भारत की संस्कृति का दर्पण प्रसार भारती है कराता.
And for more, we have Deepika Mehato joining us from Goa. Well, Deepika, if we had opening ceremony yesterday, a grand opening ceremony, give us an overall sense of the festival and how are the young filmmakers also being showcased in this year?
Good morning, Lipakshi. The 55th edition of International Film Festival of India kicked off in grand style yesterday, and the red carpet was abuzz with top stars from the film industry from here, India and abroad as well. And as we know that Australia is the focus country, so The Better Man is the film which is in focus right now at this particular edition of the 55th IFFI, and the entire star cast was present. And apart from that, we also had a conversation with Shekhar Kapoor, who happens to be the famous and celebrated director as well as the festival director of this particular event. And talking about yesterday's opening ceremony, as you just mentioned, that Prasar Bharati also launched India's first OTT platform, which is Waves, and many stars were praising the first OTT platform of the country, and they said that Doordarshan has always been in their blood, and now Waves comes as a fresh breath of air for them. So this is how IFFI is trying to be a 360 is trying to come up with a 360-degree approach to put together all the happenings that are related to film, its industry, its economy, and how to prosper it better across the world, and how we can connect the bridge of India and the other rest of the world, so that we can prosper this economy and enter into the soft economy and earn more from it. And apart from that, if we talk about today's day 3 of the International Film Festival of India, and today happens to be the first day of Film Bazaar that focuses on a B2B platform, which is business to business platform. And apart from that, at the Film Bazaar, 100 creative minds of tomorrow event is also going on, which is a competition that happens daily, and it will go on till the 24th of it, where all the young participants will get an opportunity to showcase their talent, and basis on that they would be awarded and rewarded. And apart from that, they get to learn a lot from the people here, because people are coming here from all across the world. They are not only engaging in different set of competitions, but also learning and exchanging their skills as well, Lipakshi.
All right, Deepika, thank you so much for all those details from Goa. And moving on, Civil Aviation Ministry led by Minister Ram Mohan Naidu has rolled out measures to tackle fog-related disruptions in Delhi and NCR. Cat 2, Cat 3 compliant systems are operational. Airlines will promptly notify passengers of delays, and LED screens will provide real-time updates. With improved coordination between ATC, airlines and airports, the ministry assures smoother operations this winter, prioritizing passenger safety and convenience. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. India's National Investigation Agency is conducting raids at 8 locations including Riyasi, Doda, Udhampur, Ramban and Kishtwar in northern state of Jammu and Kashmir. The raids are being conducted in connection with a case involving terrorist infiltration. National Disaster Response Force conducted a 2-day mock drill on landslide and earthquake management in Jammu and Kashmir's Riyasi. The mock drill simulates disaster scenarios like hospital damage, fire incidents, evaluating response strategies and discussing solutions with district officials to enhance the region's disaster preparedness. To commemorate World Children's Day, UNICEF Odisha facilitated a sand art exhibit in eastern state of Odisha's Puri on Wednesday. Sand artist Manasa, who sculpted the artwork on the 2024 theme, Listen to the Future, showcasing the smiling faces of children that underscore the importance of their voices in shaping the future. Artists are also showcasing their unique craftsmanship on stones in the sculpture camp organized in India's Shilpgram. 12 artists from various states are crafting sculpture of 12 zodiac signs on marble stones to attract the tourist. And still to come in DD India News Hour. We'll show you all the updates from the ongoing COP29 summit in Baku, Azerbaijan. Germany secures a 2-0 victory over Canada to reach the semi-finals of the Davis Cup. And Special Olympics Bharat launches Strong Minds initiative to help athletes manage stress and well-being.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You are watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, we'll give you some COP29 updates now. Let's see what's happening in COP29 summit in Baku in Azerbaijan. On the 10th day of the summit, exploring transformating potential of digital technologies, World Green Economy Organization and United Nations Climate Change Global Innovation Hub organized a session on incentivizing low-carbon cities, digital tools for sustainable urban development. The session emphasized how data and innovative tools can support urban planning, waste management, sustainable transportation and citizen engagement to reduce emissions, enhance quality of life and build climate resilience. The session concluded by emphasizing that cities are at the forefront of climate action and digital innovation can be a game changer in achieving sustainable urban development. Meanwhile, Pacific Island member states strongly called for the inclusion of the ocean agenda during the summit. Pacific Community Director Climate Change and Environmental Sustainability Coral Pasasi said that after 30 years of trying to get oceans meaningfully included in the COP process, the Pacific still is struggling to do it in a meaningful way.
Therefore, when it comes to the UNFCCC, unfortunately, when you want to talk about the fish being driven out of the EEZs of our countries because of climate change, and how can we deal with that, we're told no, that's a UN fish stocks agreements issue and needs to be dealt with through the WCPFC.
While during the summit, the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction in a presentation noted that the current rate of implementation of only 70% of the SDGs will be achieved by 2030. Addressing the gathering, UNDRR Head of Office Animesh Kumar underscores the importance of city resilience and the partnership approach in enhancing local resilience. Now, for the record, there is a global rate of losing around 1.8 million infrastructure units per year in the last 8 years, with the majority being in the cities.
Disasters occurring which have never occurred in that space, in that city. And we always kept getting off guarded in terms of the impact of these different impacts.
1 million infrastructure units per year in the last 8 years, with the majority being in the cities. Now, for the record, there is a global rate of losing around 1.8 million infrastructure units per year in the last 8 years, with the majority being in the cities. Whereas the Pacific Tourism Organization has acknowledged the COP29 presidency and UN tourism for the inclusion of tourism sector in the COP29 thematic discussion agenda. Pacific Tourism Chief Executive Christopher Cocker says that sustainable tourism is an excellent driver for climate action that includes both the government, private sector and the tourist. He believes that the sector could market, communicate, practice and advocate a lot on climate solutions and their impact for the Pacific and the Caribbean region.
A lot of our industry have changed their way of thinking, etc., post-COVID, because they realized with that absence of tourism and they had the opportunity to sit back and also think properly, they want a new type of tourism moving forward. And it's sustainable tourism, being more committed to protect our environment, our culture and our Pacific way of life.
Now you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. Three-time Davis Cup champion Germany secured a 2-0 victory over Canada to reach the semi-finals on Wednesday. Jan-Lennard Struff overcame Denis Shapovalov in thrilling match, winning 4-6, 7-5, 7-6, avenging Germany's 2022 quarter-final loss to eventual champion Canada. Earlier, Daniel Almeria gave Germany the lead with a victory over Gabriel Diallo in the opening single match. Germany, seeking its first title since 1993, will face the Netherlands in the semi-finals after the Dutch eliminated Spain, marking the end of Rafael Nadal's illustrious 23-year career. And Special Olympics Bharat launched a Strong Minds initiative to help athletes with intellectual disabilities managing stress. At the Asia Pacific Bocce and Bowling competition in Delhi, psychologists provided counseling to the athletes. Dr. Khalid Qadri from Egypt highlighted his team's focus on improving mental health. An exclusive report by DD India's Narayan Singh.
Special Olympics Bharat introduced the Strong Minds initiative to help athletes with intellectual disabilities manage stress. This interactive activity focuses on building adaptive coping skills. During the Asia Pacific Bocce and Bowling competition at the Tyagaraja Stadium in Delhi, a team of psychologists provided counseling to the athletes. They worked closely with the athletes to address stress and promote emotional well-being. Dr. Khalid Qadri from Egypt shared insights about his team's efforts.
The idea is that we want to equip athletes with skills that they can use to manage stress in the competition environment, but also things that they can generalize and use in day-to-day life. So stress is part and parcel of everyday life. Everyone has stress and we all deal with it in different ways. And so we try and coach the athletes of using healthy coping mechanisms to help them manage stress in the competitions, but also in day-to-day life.
Especially when we talk about our athletes, they go, they have a lot of stress in everyday life also because they have got special needs, which at times leads to a issue of delay in expressions. When we talk about athletes in Special Olympic, it's very important for them to realize that they have to have a support system. Parallelly, they should know how to cope themselves also. Like whenever they have issues, they have problems, they need to understand that in that situation, they need to balance that out. They need to have that breathing exercise, and that's what the stations are all about.
Strong Mind teaches strategies like positive thinking, releasing stress and building connections. These tools support emotional resilience and improve mental health. By nurturing emotional wellness, Strong Mind ensures that athletes are prepared to face challenges both on and off field. The initiative is a vital step in empowering athletes with intellectual disabilities to achieve their potential. Sports Desk, DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.